Good morning, and hopefully you are having a strong Monday start to your morning. I am fired up as for the next hour. We are going to be placing a bunch of bets. My name is Billy Collins, and I'm ready to rock and roll, guys. We have the sports equinox is here today. We have game one of the World Series. We have a Monday Night Football game between Washington and Kansas City. And then we have the NHL and NBA in action tonight. So one of those rare times of the year, though it's been happening a bit more frequently, where we have all four major sports going on at once today. So happy Sports Equinox Day to you guys. And let me go ahead and minimize myself, and let's jump into the Odds Jam optimizer. And let's take a look. Take a look at their DFS optimizer. Irish, what's going on? So hopefully you guys were able to tell, I know Irish was, some of the plays that we gave out on the stream yesterday, because we had quite the day with the picks that were given out in the stream. We had Tucker Kraft, Breece Hall, Chase Brown, all score touchdowns. So we gave out 4 touchdown picks, 3 of them cashed. And then we had Valerina Chushkin cash for us at anytime goal scorer. I also placed a larger wager on Danny Jones, Danny Dimes, under on his passing attempts. And thanks to the blowout in the game against the Titans, that cashed for us as well. So we had quite the day with our pregame bets yesterday. It was awesome. And so we're going to start off with a PrizePicks 3-man entry, see what we have going on. I'm going to set this to 2 minimum data points, and this tool just likes to search and scan all the available sports books out there, guys, and we're just going to, go after the plays where I think there's some opportunity. So the first thing that I see here, I'm not extremely excited about what I see on the board for PrizePicks. Naturally, as the day goes on, the odds and the activity changes, guys. These lines are going to move. We're looking at some player props here, but this Cade Cunningham over on his points and rebounds, 30.5. This looks decent. No pinnacle line here. A lot of the books have this at 31.5. It's okay. Minus 122. We're getting this as one less. It's fine. I'm not like super excited about this, but this would be a play that's in consideration for me. But Jeremy Grant, the problem with this play is that nobody really has any lines set for this other than Fliff and Underdog. And so hard for me to tell really which play is sharp. Ken, what's going on, man? Edge Zone, 8K weekend. What's going on, Edge Zone? Hell of a weekend. Love to see that. Ron, what's going on? Chi-Town. NHL shots on goal, bro. I know. The shots on goal have been cooking over at the Edge Zone. And for the OGs and DGens, I know Irish knows about Edge Zone. We're going to go through that here in a little bit later, guys. But it's definitely a tool that you want to have in your repertoire, especially now that we have everything's back in season. The only thing that we're waiting on to come back is college basketball, and which is a volume that's going to provide a lot of volume. What I'm looking at here on the optimizer, guys, there's not really much. There's not much that I'm excited about. Like, there's no FanDuel, there's no pinnacle odds here. When we get down to these, we're being recommended a lot of combos, which obviously yesterday we only put together one play. The combos didn't quite work out. These combo plays are, so the problem here with like this Herb Jones play, the points, rebounds, and assists, which I like points, rebounds, and assists, but these combo plays here, you can get a better play or better odds on FanDuel if you play this at FanDuel for the Ayton play, the Zion play, Jaylen Brown. Like, none of these aren't any good. And then Anthony Davis on his points and rebounds, kind of similar to Cade Cunningham. Like, this is 35.5, so we're getting, the bar's a little bit one higher for us to hit this under, which is nice. But again, we're getting this at minus 122. So if FanDuel were to take their line and go from 34.5 to 35.5, I'd have to imagine they would set this at like maybe a minus 125. Again, you're taking somewhat of an educated guess on what their line or projection would be. If you forget about FanDuel, like DraftKings would have this at probably like a minus 122, minus 125. So yeah, this is kind of a bunch of crap on here right now. And I try to keep it straight with you guys. I'm not forcing a slip to make a slip. So at the moment, I don't see anything that I really like, and we'll take a look at underdog. But yes, one thing, I mean, Ed Jones been doing a lot of stuff, but one of the things that they've been absolutely cooking in terms of a Discord, and there's a lot of things I like about that Discord, but one of the things is they've been cooking on their NHL shots on goal. So, it's kind of like the Sharp Money Tool guys, where Edge Zone has certain contributors where they have their own originators. These originators they have their own models, they come up with their own prices. So the beautiful thing, it's a little bit more of a bottom-up sports betting approach. Bit of a hybrid, I would say, but it's more bottom-up. And the beautiful thing about bottom-up sports betting is when you see when you're looking at one game and it's all minus 110 across the board for all the sports books. You're looking tonight, the Chiefs, Commanders, over-under, and then each book, MGM, Caesars, FanDuel, DraftKings, all have the over-under at minus 110. As a top-down sports bettor, we don't really know what to do there. But with a bottom-up model approach, if your model tells you that you should bet the over because your model thinks it's minus 180 and the fair is minus 140, well, then you can bet into any of the sports books, right? Because the model's telling you, this is good to like minus, to like plus 105, and you can get it at minus 110. And it's a little bit easier, to go through an actual example, but we'll jump into that here in a second. So again, with the underdog slips, guys, I believe that FanDuel's quite sharp on NBA player props. You can beat them at NBA player props. It's not like they can't be beat, but I would rather go after another recreational sports book to beat for NBA player props. So just no pinnacle line here, right? And it's not everything to have pinnacle, but it's just another source of confirmation. That's really what it is. And so it's really hard for me to get excited about this. So we'll jump over to better. Chat is popping up. I tell you what, for 9 a.m. in the morning Eastern time, 6 a.m. Pacific, it's popping off. Yeah, Irish, we do have a link for Edge Zone. I'll pull it up off to the side here, and I'll send it over. Apologies, you guys. You know how it is for me sometimes in the morning, dealing with a little congestion. So Edge Zone offers various different packages. This is their cheapest package that is $97 a month. We'll jump into some different ones. Right? Arbitrage. There we go. So that's the first one. And then this is the Matrix. So a big fan of the Matrix. This is $197 a month. And then they have 3 different plans, guys. So I'll share all 3 if you want to check it out. Right, there it is. All right, better. We're going to, like I said, we'll show that Discord here in a little bit. Got to tease it. Got to tease it for everybody. Better 3-man entries. Again, yeah. And one of the reasons, guys, the Pinnacle doesn't have line sets just a little early in the morning, right, for them to drop lines. As I mentioned before, make sure that you follow Underdog NBA. They are a great source to just keep up to date on what's going on. So rebounds, points for rebounds, and assists for Edgecombe. Minus 125 on FanDuel, so I'm not like really feeling this play. What about Zion? Yeah. So again, guys, the Zion play, if you take a cumulative average of all 4 of these, then you could probably get behind this play. But I think the FanDuel's sharper than these other 3 when it comes to their NBA lines. So I'm just going to disregard this. Not much I'm seeing. Let's take a look at some fliff plays. Fliff plays, I typically like to go after at least 2, if not 3 minimum data points. For any of you guys that don't know what that means, it means I need at least 3 other sports books providing odds, plus the odds that we're receiving at the sports book that we're looking at. So obviously, the more opinions that you have, the better it is. So think about it. If you go to the doctor and they tell you that you need to get surgery on your leg, and you're like, hey, let me get a second opinion, doc. Right? You go get a second, sometimes a third opinion on that leg. You have more confidence in the opinions of the doctor or at least you have, just more opinions in general. And that's what I prefer when I'm sports betting, is I want as many opinions as possible. So out of all these plays, the one that I'm interested in the most is the run line for the Blue Jays, because I have a lot of opinions compared to Crystal Palace on their team total, right? And again, guys, when you start getting to either like the plus 2,000s, plus 5,000s, or the minus 3,000s, the minus 6,000s, you start to get, the opinions start to get really, really wide and crazy, okay? So, but when you keep it to like the main run line, it's pretty tight. So Pinnacle's only seeing this at minus 113. So it's only 3 cents off the Pinnacle, which is a big deal to me in terms of this opinion. And it's only 5 cents off the Bet Online. So not feeling it 100% with this run line play. Let's take a look at Dabble. If anyone's looking to use Dabble, we'll look at some 3-pick entries. Again, no insurance. And I mentioned before, guys, I'm probably going to lean more on OddsJam's Optimizer when I'm going through some DFS plays with you guys on the stream. No offense to DGF's AI Slip Generator. It's just I like to see the plays. I like to see the odds. I like to scan the market and the plays, and I don't just like to blindly trust a tool. I've had success with DGF's AI Slip Generator, but I just like to get a little bit more in the weeds and see what's what. So, nothing wrong with a DGF AI Slip Generator. Just want to switch it up from time to time and use OddsJam's Optimizer a little bit more just to kind of see what's going on. So we have a lot of points, rebounds, and assists, which is one of my favorite markets to bet on in the NBA. To get this at 38 is pretty nice. 39.5 for FanDuel and a lot of the other books. Now, MGM has this at 38.5. But we're getting this at 38, so we're getting some insurance here. That's kind of the biggest thing here with Dabble is these are all nice round numbers. So there is some insurance baked into these plays. I'm not seeing what's going on the monitor off to the side, but the chat's popping off. So I always appreciate seeing everyone chat popping off, especially this early in the morning. No doubt about that, Ron. No doubt about that. All right, so for FanDuel, I can get behind the Zion play. Drew Holiday, okay. It's fine. It's okay. Nikola Vuce, as I just like to call him. Yeah, I like the Nikola and Zion. These as the top two. And then I would probably go with Jalen Suggs. Those would be my 3. So if I was going to cook up a Dabble slip right now, if I was in Florida and I was like, I want to cook up a slip, this would be the 3-pick slip that I would cook up. Suggs over, Zion over on their points, rebounds, and assists. Take Nikola Vucevic under on his rebounds and assists. That would be the play. That's what I would do. So hopefully you can grab that one. Let's see what else. Let's look at DraftKings pick 6. Okay, DraftKings pick 6. And by the way, guys, I know we're looking at some player props. We're going to be diving into more main markets this morning. This is probably going to be the only portion of the stream where we're going to go through player props. Tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be looking at a lot more player props. So not going to really jump into any time NHL goal scorers. Not going to jump into any player props really per se right now. The only time I'm going to go after player props this early in the morning is something FanDuel related, because I think as you get later in the day, FanDuel becomes very sharp. But for the most part, guys, if you just want to hold off on betting player props until later today or tonight, that would be the recipe, in my opinion, for success. But for mainline markets, for MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL, and in college football, we're going to look at that this morning, no doubt. Okay, so DraftKings pick 6. Jaren Jackson, KD. Okay, KD's all right. Trey. Yeah, okay. KD and Trey I can get behind. Edge come over on his points. This rookie's just been something else, though. The Magic, at least last year, the Magic had one of the best defenses in the league. Edge come, okay. Not bad. I don't like the Zion play. Yeah, so I would go with Edgecombe. I would go with KD, and I would go with Trey. That would be the three that I would pick for this. And we have about a 16.5% chance of hitting this. So I'll throw this on here on DraftKings in a little sprinkle. But we've been very hot, guys, with NHL anytime goal scores. It's been an insane run this month. Been really, really good. And also not too shabby with NFL anytime touchdown scores. So we submit $5 plus entries into each of the 4 major leagues for a shot at game tickets. Sports Equinox, they're running that. That's really nice. They got a boost today for the NBA, but it's live. So, yeah, I don't really care about that. So we're just going to cook this up old school style. Just a regular classic slip. And we got what is over on his points. We're taking Durant on his points and rebounds. There we go. And then last but not least, we're taking Trey. So these are all overs. Did the Trey play bump? Dude, did it bump? Dude. Like, how annoying. Hunter, points, rebounds. Yeah, we can do Hunter. All right. We can definitely do that one. Okay. I'll share this with you guys. I'm going to throw this in here now, and let's see what we got. All right. Let's share this, copy, and drop it. Yeah, no problem, Irish. No problem. No problem at all. Okay. So there's a 3-pick with DraftKings pick 6. I'm just going to take a little screenshot of that for my record-keeping purposes, and we're going to move on. All right. Let's take a look at, first and foremost, the Sharp Money tool. Sharp, whoa, what's this logo? Yeah, super bad. These are some, I don't know why we have these. These are a bunch of offshore books. Where's my books at? Let me pick my books. Can we do that? Let's do that. Let's do the other books. What do we have? Now, let me just do the AZ books right now. All right, the AZ books. So if you guys are just wondering, I have this at minus 200 plus 150, right? I have the 4 major leagues set up, for, not just for the Equinox, but just the 4 major leagues, because that's what I'm looking for. You could also do EPL if you wanted to, right? You want to look at like EPL, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, France, MLS. You could do all those. And then we're just looking at mainline markets. Okay, so at the moment, for mainline markets, the only play that I am interested in going after on the Sharp Money tool, I'm barely interested on the Celtics spread. Celtics plus 2.5 against the Pelicans. This would be the only play that I'm slightly interested in. Pinnacle has a $5,000 limit. Someone has $5,400 here, and then it looks like $6,500. So there's around $12,000 total on this. They really want the Celtics plus 2.5 at that minus 104, minus 105 spot. That's what they really want. So that would be the only thing that I'm really paying attention to, okay? Obviously, not as much money here on the Celtics at plus 3.5, right? The rest of these plays, the green dollar sign here, guys, is not higher than Pinnacle's limit, right? And yesterday's stream, if you guys don't, if you're still confused about the Sharp Money tool, I gave a longer, extensive breakdown of this tool yesterday to hope kind of explain how the tool works. So for myself, based off the Sharp Money, betting strategy, the foundation of how we bet, I don't like any of these plays because the liquidity is way too low, right? Like I'm not going to bet Commanders at plus 13.5 based off of the fact that there's $948. But I probably would bet, and I will bet the Commanders at plus 13.5 on Hard Rock because it looks like it's a very just positive EV play to Pinnacle's odds. Okay, so from just looking at the odds, this is a good play on Hard Rock because it's 21 cents off to Pinnacle, and it's wildly off to the rest of the books. So I like this play on the Commanders at Hard Rock because of the odds. I don't but if I was just using the sharp money tool, I wouldn't place this bet because of the liquidity. But if you just scan the odds, you could tell that this is a very good play. Pinnacle's at minus 146. They're taking $50,000. So anything that's a main line like this, point spread, that's over 20 cents, hell, if it's over 15 cents, I'm like super in, right? But the idea mostly behind the sharp money strategy is that, there's a professional sports bettor out there that's put up a lot of money, and we want to be on the side that they want to be on. And so on this play with the Celtics, someone clearly wants the Celtics at plus 2.5. And they're happy to offer the Pelicans at minus 2.5. So this is something, and they obviously want it at a minus 104, minus 105, and we can get that over at Hard Rock. Now, just looking at these odds, it's 12 cents off to Bookmaker. I like that. 10 cents off to Pinnacle. I'm okay with that. 8 cents off to Bet Online. It barely meets the criteria. But all in all, for me, this is a play that I really like. So I would bet this over at Hard Rock. All right, so let's go over the EV tool. And at the moment here, guys, that's really it for the sharp money tool. So there's going to be plays, guys, on the sharp money tool that are just EV in general. And then there's going to be plays in the sharp money tool that aren't EV. And those plays that aren't, you truly believe that it's just you believe that there's a professional bettor on the other side and he wants to get some action down. So we're looking at mainline markets here. Okay, we're looking for all 4 major sports. Again, I'm more than happy to add in some soccer because I like betting main soccer. We haven't bet much this year. I want to get into betting more soccer because I've had a lot of success in the past. We're using Pinnacle. We're using worst case. I'm using just a half percentage. Okay, so I've talked about this before in the past, and kind of want to bring this I want to make sure I harp on this a little bit more. A lot of people that use the OddsJam software, and I would say this is probably the case for any software, whether it's Unabated, OddsView, Pick the Odds, you name it, right? A-Train Station. I feel like a lot of people don't spend enough time betting mainline markets. OGs and DGens have heard me talk about this. So here's an example, right? Celtics, plus 4.5. Now, Pinnacle's only taking $5,000 on this play right now. But that's because it's at plus 4.5, right? If they were looking at the mainline market plays, they're probably taking a little bit more. So we see an opportunity here where FanDuel's at minus 142. And I think this is a great play. We should go jump over on FanDuel because look at this movement. Look at this movement in less than an hour from Pinnacle. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit more to drive the point home. Look at this. Okay, this is a big deal. Okay, minus 153 they were. Now they're at minus 164. So, I'm running over to FanDuel as fast as I'm the Forrest Gump meme. I'm out the door, out the driveway, and I'm headed down the road. And I'm trying to get on this Celtics plus 4.5 as much as I can. So, OddsJam's recommended me to bet $130. I'm going to round up to probably 175, maybe 200 because of the movement from Pinnacle. Sharp Book just moved in less than an hour. I deem that as a wonderful indicator. Wonderful indicator. And I'm more than happy to bet over what I'm supposed to. So remember, guys, when you're over here on FanDuel, you got to come down to, you're on same game parlay right here, okay? Scroll down to the alternate spreads. That's where this play lives. You could also use the one-click bet feature with OddsJam. I'm going to go up to $200. I like this. Okay? So I feel very bullish on a mainline market. Okay? So we bet the Celtics. And you're going to say, well, Billy, who cares? It's like 2.5% edge. It's decent, but it's not awesome. I'm going to say, yeah, okay. But here's the thing. Free bet tracker at OddsJam. Huge fan of it. So we see that Pinnacle's taking $5,000 on that Celtics play, right? So when we go to, and we add player props, okay, and I'll just click off main markets for a second. And we're going to look at Rashee Rice, over 6.5 catches. And we're going to say, yo, this is almost a 4% edge, Billy. This is a better play than your Celtics spread because it's a higher EV edge. And I'm going to say, well, yeah, the edge is higher, but Pinnacle's only taking $500. Pinnacle's taking $5,000 on the Celtics spread. They're taking $500. So Let's pretend for a second, because I'm all about educating here, guys, right? The plays will always be here. I'm more about educating. So let's pretend we don't know what the market is or what the bet is. And on one side, one guy looks at us and say, hey, I'll take your bet, but I'll take it up to $5,000. And we got another guy, the other guy's like, yo, I'll take your bet, but I'll take it up to $500. Okay. It's a little bit different here in terms of who's taking the amount of money. So who has more confidence in the bet that they're offering you? The guy that's giving you $500 to bet or the guy that's giving you $5,000 to bet? Right? The guy that's giving you the guy that's offering you to bet up to $5,000, that person has more confidence in their line. So when I'm looking at the EV page, I am really paying attention to liquidity. So the fact that Pinnacle is taking $5,000 on the Celtics, that's why I'm willing to bet above the bet recommendation size. Here, they're only taking $500. So when I look at player props, I'm willing to bet sometimes at this number. Normally, I'm betting a little bit below this number because of the liquidity, because the Pinnacle has less confidence in this line. So far too often, people that use the EV tool, they don't know any better sometimes, but they're just going after very high EV edge plays, but they're all player props, but the player props have low liquidity. And one thing that they completely forget to do is they don't look at mainline markets, right? And I think it's something here that us streamers on the OddsJam, we don't do a very good job of explaining the importance of this. So a lot of plays sometimes that live down here, this point spread on the Lakers is popping up all over the place. You're looking at a total points market with DraftKings, right? Or where would be a really good example? Maybe the Brooklyn Nets on the spread here. Like Pinnacle's taking $5,000. All of these plays, Pinnacle's taking more money, other than maybe some of these football games. Pinnacle's taking more money than the player props. I mean, hell, on this MLS game, they're taking $2,300. And I kind of like this one. I don't mind it. And I don't like the fact that FanDuel just moved up here. We're looking at Cincinnati and Columbus under 2.5 goals today in this MLS match. I don't like this. Because FanDuel just moved, and they just moved within less than an hour. So I don't like that movement from FanDuel. So I might disregard that. But here at the top, right, Lakers. So if you type in Lakers, and I understand not everyone has Hard Rock, but again, the same kind of rules apply here. This is a money line play here between Circa and ESPN Bet. Now Circa might have just moved their odds. Looks like they may have adjusted it. Yeah. They just went to plus 120, guys. So Circa just moved. This is all day over here at ESPN Bet. Lakers money line tonight, plus 130 odds. This is an ARB to Pinnacle on a NBA money line play, right? ARB to Pinnacle. This is a great play. And they just moved to plus 125. Yeah, that's because they knew it was a good play. It's still a decent play, but it was even better about 10 seconds ago. Yeah. You get a money line play that's an ARB to Pinnacle on one of the 4 major sports, that's a smash. Absolute smash. Irish, so in this example, to basically answer your question, Irish, but with the Lakers example, okay? This is my philosophy, but as you guys can see, we have a lot of different options here with the Lakers for the spreads. Let's focus on the spread plays. The highest EV edge play is plus 4.5, but I care about what's the easiest bet to hit. So all these plays are EV, but I want to go after the easiest leg to hit, and I would prefer to go after Lakers at plus 5. Okay, just a little bit better. Get a little insurance. Lakers lose by 5. It's a push. Now, if some of you don't want to, play minus 145 odds, too juicy, understandable. But a couple of things here. Number one, when you're faced with this type of example, I like to go after the easiest leg possible, okay, which is Lakers at plus 5. You're getting the most points, okay. I don't always focus on the highest EV edge play. And this is where you're going to get into some different opinions from some people. Some are going to tell you should go after the highest EV edge, which is fine. I understand that, but I would rather go after the easier play here. Number 2, if you want to bet all these Lakers spreads, very high risk, very high reward, right? Lakers win the game by 20, you win them all, you make a boatload of cash. Lakers lose by 20, you're crying in your soup. Your ramen soup, because that's all you can afford because you just lost 7 different Lakers spreads, right? So ideally, take 1, maybe take 2 tops. But just remember, if you want to bet all these, think about the outcome at the end of the game. And I always like to think of it the negative side. If the Lakers lose by 10 and you took all of these plays, are you going to be able to deal with that? If your answer is no, then don't bet it. Don't do it. Just take 1 and move along, right? So we're going to see this with some overs and with some unders. I'm always a big fan of taking the best over, the easiest overs, the easiest unders. So I think this Titans game's popping up a few times, right? So you're seeing a bunch of chances here to bet the over. What's the lowest bar to hit this over? Is 41. 41's the easiest one of them all, okay? Again, you can take 41.5, but if this game ends 31-10, then, we lose the over 41.5. So I'm always a big advocate of taking the easiest one. Even if this over 41 made me live down here, I'm still fine with that because it's a little bit easier to hit, okay? Also, guys, another strategy that you can employ is if you're looking to bet a bunch of overs or a bunch of unders, my advice to you would be to take this spread, this total points, up to 3 points. So keep this within a field goal. So if you want to bet the over 41, you want to bet the over 42, the over 42.5, the over 41.5, that's fine with me because this is all within 1 to 2 points, okay? But again, there's some critical numbers here when you get to 41, 42. So maybe just take the easiest one. But that's how I would go after it. What else do we have today? Commanders, like we talked about, Commanders plus 13.5. I really like that play. Something that I'm definitely would consider betting. It's an arb to Pinnacle. Pinnacle's taking $50,000 on this play. 50 grand. Okay. It's a lot. Now remember, guys, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this play. We're going to jump over here to the edge zone here in just a second. When you see someone at Kalshi that has $174,000 that they're offering the Chiefs at plus 118, remember, this person wants the Commanders at minus 118 odds. And at the moment, the order's probably not going to get filled unless the odds move against you today. So remember that, okay? When you're looking at this play, highly unlikely that this order is going to get filled. A lot of people are like, wow, we definitely want to be on the Commanders today. Yes, but this person wants to be on the Commanders at minus 118. And if they get this order filled at minus 118 odds, this is a 6% EV edge play on an NFL point spread. So a lot of these professional bettors that are living out here on the Kalshis and the Pauly markets, what they're doing is they're putting out crazy numbers, right? They're putting out $175,000, $400,000. But most likely the order isn't going to get filled. So just because you see this large number does not mean that you should just go bet Commanders on the other side. It's all about the price. If you get a good price, then sure, right? You can get this at minus 125. That's incredible. This guy wants it at minus 118, which is even better. So and it's probably not going to happen. So just remember, just because you see large numbers doesn't always mean that you just have to go bet that side. Let's take a look at, for my no vig people, Nashville and Miami. Again, we're looking at Major League Soccer. Playoffs are in session. This is an arb to Pinnacle. The Pinnacle's only taking $900 here, but it's almost twice the amount of money that's being offered on no vig. I'm okay with betting the under 3.5 total goals. Yeah, Ron, that looks amazing, man. That's exactly right. Exactly. Pick six at the event. Yeah, we went through pick six, man. I shared a link earlier. Oh, maybe you guys got that? All right, I'm just catching up now. Irish, yeah, so no, Irish, to answer your question on that main line, I would not wager more money at the plus 2.5. I'd rather wager more money on the plus 4.5 because I'm getting 2 extra points. So that's where I would rather go and wager a little bit more on. So I like this under. If we're looking at this over on the Grizzlies and the Warriors, It's a low hold to Pinnacle. Pinnacle's taking $3,000. There's only 538 bucks. So I would definitely go grab this on Novig right now. Big fan. Bookmakers at -110. Hell, FanDuel's at -120. So yeah, I can get in on that. Let me refresh the page really quickly. Going to see a lot of Hard Rock here, guys. So, if you don't have Hard Rock, you can skip it. Again, I could bet the Celtics again at +3.5. I'd rather have the +4.5 than the +3.5. Would just prefer that. What else do we got here? Thrills. Anyone that's messing around with thrills, Saints, Rams under 45.5. If your thrills isn't limited yet. While Pinnacle's only taking $2,000. Remember, guys, this game's not till next Sunday. But if you want to beat NFL, this is how you do it. Typically, guys, though, if you want to beat NFL, you want to bet your overs now, right? As the general public goes along, usually the overs are going to be inflated. So it's a lower total to hit right now for the overs. So I don't mind that. Niners on the money line. Ooh, this is a low hold over at Bookmaker. I got to be honest, guys. I would love to bet a little Niners money line here. It's interesting that the Bookmaker just moved. That's something I don't like to see. And they moved a lot within the last couple of seconds. And Pinnacle just updated, and they stayed at -150. Circa's at minus... I'm going to go on a limb here. This is not like me because I don't like the movement there from Bookmaker, but this is just too good of a price. Compared to all the other sharp books that haven't moved yet. Niners money line. Any bets for my bookie, Angie? No. So my bookie is still not added to OddsJam. It's still not back yet. But if you see Props Builder, Angie, you could bet it there. No doubt about that. Chi-Town, you got it all off? Nice. Limited me to $1. Took them for $2,300 this month. That's awesome. Yeah, so Chi-Town had a great time over at Thrills. That's a great time. All right, so we're going to go and bet San Francisco at Bookmaker, which is a sharp sports book, but I'm not against it. They're taking $2,600, which is $600 more than Pinnacle, but I'm fine. I'm fine betting this. I'm going to empty the rest of my money in this account, so that's $205. And I got this at -132 odds. Okay. We'll see how this play ages, guys. That's what I love about betting money lines on a Monday when the game doesn't start till Sunday. Again, Bookmaker's really sharp. They're not really ever gonna limit you. So that's why I have no fear betting over there. What else do we have? So obviously focusing just on a lot of main markets here at the moment. Can be sportsbook. Let's take a look at this Nets play. What's the option on the Nets? Okay, so we have like Rockets on one side, Nets on the other side. We got Nets on FanDuel. Naturally, out of all these plays on the Rockets and Nets, we're kind of getting opposite, right? Both sides can be EV. There is a world where you could take Rockets -13 on Hard Rock, and you take the Nets at +18 on Ballybet or Bet Rivers, and you cash both, right? Rockets win between 13 to 18 points, and you're at least going to win one, if not win both. Rockets win by 13. This is a push. This is a win. Rockets win by 18. This is a win. This is a push, right? If they win between 14 to 17 points, cash both. So you can take two different positions if you want, right? No doubt about that. But what do we got here? So obviously the easiest play for me would be Nets at +18. If I was on the Rockets, I'd want to take the Rockets at -13 because it's an easier bar to hit than -14. Pinnacle's taking $5K on this play. They're taking $5K on this play. So, this is an interesting example here, guys, where we're being offered to being told to bet both. And, okay. So, I try to save my Hard Rock account so I don't get limited quickly. Trying to just save my Hard Rock account for later down the road. And again, the Nets, I'm probably not going to place a bet on either right now. It's one of those unique situations. If I would fire this off at Hard Rock for sure, and then I would probably consider betting this +18 and try to find a middle opportunity there. That's what I would go after. All right, let me show you case to you guys. Let me make sure I pull this off to the side. Where's it at? There it is. So We talked about this earlier in the stream and love to showcase it because I think it's a great tool, which is Edge Zone. Okay, now Edge Zone, we talked about a couple different things here, guys. They have their matrix, right? They have their NHL plays. So they literally just give out a play like this, right, for their NHL. Darnell Nurse. Give me a second here. This is what you're typically going to see with the matrix. So this is the second package. That's $197 a month. You get access to their matrix plays. So the cool thing here with Edge Zone is that they really give you parameters to work around. We talked about how they have more of a bottom-up approach. So they use a model. The model tells you bet this play between this odds range and this odds range. So the best part about Edge Zone is that you can bet into the sharp books. You can bet into the books that aren't going to limit you. The Bet Onlines, the bookmakers, the Pinnacles, the Bet 105s, the FanDuels, right? You can bet into these books. So they're telling you, okay, listen, this is a 5.4% edge. Darnell Nurse bet is over 1.5 shots on goal. He plays for Edmonton. The fair value of this bet is minus 145. Right now, the book that they're recommending is FanDuel, okay, to bet this. So they're telling you to bet up to 1 unit, anywhere between 1 unit to 1.25 of a unit on this play. And you can bet this between minus 128 to minus 129 odds, okay? If I look at another play here, was it the Farabee play? So Joel Farabee, they're telling you to take this play between minus 122 to minus 138. They're telling you could bet this on Props Builder. Everybody has access to Props Builder. And it's a 10% edge, and you should just bet right now between 1 unit to 1.25 unit, over 1.5 shots on goal. And so the beautiful thing about this is, guys, is a few things. Number one is everybody has access to a Props Builder, right? If you don't, there's about a dozen global sports books, offshore books you can use this on. Number two, they give you an odds range. So if you can't get it at minus 122, that's okay. You could play this up to minus 138. So you have a range, right? It's a little different. Right? This is more of a professional sports betting approach, guys, because you can bet a range when it comes to this. So you can look at your sports books and say, hey, I could bet this here, 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 and here. Okay. So this is their edge matrix, right? Which I'm a really big fan of. Obviously, you have guys like the Arb Father. He's giving out plays, telling you where you could bet this at. You could bet this at certain sports books. Arbologist is in here. We got a lot of other guys. Tumbo Toon. We got some really good UFC guys. Beat the Line UFC. They gave out a play. Mackenzie Dern money line. I tailed this one. This was nice. This one cashed for us. It was really nice. But then what they also offer, guys, is a lot of different things. You can have chats. They got all the chats. But then they got their game zone. We talk about the game zone a lot. Okay? We talk about the game zone, and this is one that I love, right? So the Bengals, right? Some of these plays don't always hit, but what I love here is like the Bengals team total. Now, granted, this play didn't cash, but this is what I like about this play, is that you see that this line right here, this orange line is Pinnacle's line, okay? So these little circles are Pinnacle going from minus 103 to minus 118, okay? This white line is the limit, meaning that at 7 a.m. down here at the bottom, Pinnacle was at minus 118, and they were taking $3,000. And then at 9:30, Pinnacle started taking $5,000. What happened as soon as Pinnacle started going from taking $3,000 to $5,000? Look at the odds. Look how it fell off a cliff. Look how it went from minus 107 down to minus 118. Why? Pinnacle started taking more money on this play, and the sharp action pushed Pinnacle's odds down to minus 118. Now, this play lost, but these are plays that I love to go after because this shows you that Pinnacle took more money later in the morning at 9:30, and then all of a sudden, boom. So this is the play. So if we're looking, and you can go by sportsbook, right? You want to look at FanDuel. You want to look at plays just for FanDuel, okay? So where's an example that I would like to see with FanDuel, right? Normally these plays like this, where it's just a white line, that means that the limits haven't changed. But the orange line shows the Pinnacle went from minus 127 down to minus 135 on this over for Duke and Clemson, okay? And then the beautiful thing here is they're going to tell you, yo, the best odds you can get this player minus 115. The fair value is at minus 120. This is a 2% EV edge play. If you bet quarter Kelly, 0.25 quarter Kelly, you should bet just over a half of a unit on this play, right? they tell you that Pinnacle's limit's $500, right? So they give you a lot of great information right here. College football, over 54.5, bet this at FanDuel, minus 115 odds, EV edge is 2%. But what I like to do is I like to scan this. And the Titans money line. Now, granted, this was a super long shot yesterday, but then they went up. They went from plus 694 all the way up. They took more liquidity here. They went from 5K to 50K, and they went from plus 979 down to plus 694. So, again, Titans money line, it's a long shot. But these little different plays here, guys, where the Broncos minus 2.5 first half point spread, you could see Pinnacle is taking this white line. They're taking more money. As Pinnacle starts to take more money from 10K to 30K, look at this orange line just go down, right? So this helps us pick off the recreational books. This is where we want to bet these types of plays, right? So this is why I really like Edge Zone. Again, I dropped some links in the chat. Big fan of this, guys. This is two things. They're matrix plays. You get access to contributors. You get access to the game zone. Different packages that they offer. I know Irish is in there, so check that out. Trent, no, I don't bet goal scorers this early. I don't. So I know, Trent, I know that's what you're asking for, man. That's what you're interested in. I'm not going to bet them. I'm going to wait until 6 p.m. Eastern to bet them. So if you're here just for goal scores, I'm not betting them right now. I'm betting mainline markets. I don't really like to bet player props this early in the morning. So I like to bet main markets. Now, obviously, guys, this is a different story when it's summertime and it's baseball, right? But now that we have all 4 major sports in action, now that I have more options available to me, I'm just going to focus on mainline markets. Yeah, Ron, it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid of basically top down and bottom up. So let me kind of give you guys an example. I broke this down a little bit earlier. So if we're looking at, let's look at the NHL today, okay? Give the NHL a little bit of love. Okay, we're looking at the Bruins and the Senators, okay? And let's say we're looking at where's the puck line? Where's the puck line? Okay. Maybe not the best example. Let me go. Let me look at the NFL because it's a little easier maybe with the NFL or the NBA. Let's go with the NFL right now. Commanders, Chiefs. A little bit easier of an example. So we're looking at the Commanders and the Chiefs, and we see a bunch of plays. The total points are between like 47.5 to 48.5. So as top-down sports bettors, if we're looking at this over-under 48, right, we got a lot of the recreational books and the sharp books all see this at minus 110. Okay, the over and the under. So when we use the positive EV tool, we don't know what to bet here, right? This is not a play that we would bet because we don't know what's going on, right? We have no indicator. There's no stale sports book, right? With top-down betting, everything with top-down betting is about speed because you got to be the fastest, right? These plays aren't going to last here forever, so you got to be very fast. One of the big reasons why this strategy is so successful is because of speed. You're going to Hard Rock and grabbing this over 41.5 because this is a really good price on the over, right? And the other reason is top-down betting works is because one sports book is just off to everybody else. When you're looking at the over-under 48 points on this Chiefs Commanders, we don't really know what to bet. Bottom-up sports bettors have a model that take in a lot of historical data. They have their own recipe for their success. And they say, listen, dude, you want to bet this under 48 on this Chiefs Commanders game? Our model thinks that this under should be priced at minus 175, and the no vig fair odds on this play is minus 145. So anything that's below minus 140, go smash this under 48. So when you're looking at this matrix, right, we're looking at this NHL shots on goal, that's what Edge Zone is doing. They're saying on Barbashev, yo, anything that's above plus 103 odds is really good. So you can bet this right now plus 114, okay? And in the example with Joel Farabee, they're saying, yo, the fair's minus 156. You can bet this between minus 122 to minus 138. That's how good this is. This is more of a bottom-up sports betting approach. So for a lot of you guys that have been watching Arbologist or myself or any odds jam streamer, we don't practice bottom-up sports betting. It's not because it doesn't work. It's because we don't have our own model that can do that, right? Professional sports bettors all practice bottom-up sports betting. It's a bit of a hybrid between top-down and bottom-up, but it's all bottom-up. All these guys hire these professional betting syndicate groups. They all hire people that specialize in certain sports. That all these people do is they only bet UFC, or they only bet Major League Baseball player props, or they only bet NBA player props. That's all these people. They have a model. That's all they do. And so that's just what they focus on. And these people know with their model, they bring back a 7 or 10% ROI on NBA player props. Or they beat NFL main markets at a 3% ROI clip. And that's all they bet. So this is more of a bottom-up sports betting approach where this gives you a wider range. Sometimes it's not as wide, right? You're only betting minus 108 to minus 112, but you can bet this, right? Whereas over here, when we're looking at these spreads, there might not be a clear picture. It might not be very simple. And so there's not much I could tell you to bet this, right? Just like betting the Chiefs, their model might say, yo, the Chiefs are really minus 1,000 odds. If you can get this anything below minus 750 odds, go bet this. And it's like, oh, snap. Well, we can bet this on DraftKings. I can bet this on Novig. I can bet this at a couple other books, Fanatics, Onyx, right? All these, right? So that's more bottom-up approach. So with top-down sports betting, you're just going after stale lines, recreational lines. I don't think this is probably a real line from BetNow. But you have to be quick. You have to be fast. Nice to see this with every game. It's a global sports book that I have an account with, but I haven't put any money in a while. This looks really good. But, yeah, no problem, Ron. No problem. Obviously, Ron, if you do use one of the links, if any of you use the links, I do receive a small kickback. So just so you guys know, I do get something back from it, right? I think it's a great tool, but I'm be honest with you guys. I don't know what it is I get back, but I get a little bit back. So you are supporting me if you want to try out Edge Zone as well. So, if you're someone that's like, why would I use Edge Zone, Billy? The idea here is that with Edge Zone, you can bet into bookmakers and bet on lines and pinnacles and FanDuels, and you can still keep the game going on. So the idea, I think, and one of the reasons I believe that why this whole Discord was created was that Arbologist and Arbfather realized that, like we all do, that you're all going to get limited at some point by the Hard Rocks and the Fanatics and the Bet365s and the BetMGMs. So what's the next step, right? What's the next play for EV betting after you get limited by DraftKings and Hard Rock? Well, you can now bet into the sharp sports books. That's why that Discord is there, right? There's a lot of other reasons, but that's one of the main reasons is now you can still make money betting into sharp books. And so that's why that would be my sales pitch to you as to why Edge Zone is a very viable option. So you can still use OddsJam software and to bet into the sharp books, but it's tough. It's a little tougher. Ooh, moneyline play? Jazz plus 104. Pinnacle's at minus 105. Hold on, guys. We might have a play on the Jazz. But it's now plus 108. That's 10 cents off the bookmaker. All right, I'm going to sprinkle this right now on FanDuel. Jazz moneyline. I don't like that FanDuel's made me moving. But now it's at plus 100. Dang it. Just moved back to plus 100. Oh, that would have been a nice play at plus 108. That would have been really good. If it's plus 102 over on Ballybet, I may be slightly interested. It's only set. It's really close. It's really close. But we might be able to get the Jazz. Let me see if this is out there right now. Yeah, it's at plus 102, which is yeah, never mind. Plus 102 is a little tough. It's fine to Pinnacle, but it's slim pickings. It's a tough one. Let's refresh this page. What else we got here? The over. Yeah, this over is just basically EV on its own. DraftKings. Over 46.5 with the Niners and the Giants. Yeah, not much else. Okay. We'll be back on tonight, guys, at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific to go through a lot of player props. NHL, anytime goal scorers, the Monday Night Football game, NBA player props. There's going to be a lot. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good time. Okay. Let me showcase again. Let's look at some PrizePicks, 3-pick entries, see if we have anything that we can go after. Just been using right now, guys, the optimizer with OddsJam because I just like kind of diving through these plays and looking to see what's what. If you guys found this, come back later today at 6 p.m. Eastern. You found the stream insightful, guys. OGs, DGens, I love you. Appreciate you. The regulars that come here, guys, and show support, I always appreciate you. Hopefully you were able to tail a couple of plays. Nice to see that we were really hot yesterday. We hit on a bunch, and hopefully let's keep that going today. We've just been, I don't know what it is. At some point, the NHL goal scorers, we can't continue to keep being this hot for this long, but it's been a lot of fun. Didn't see much that I liked over on PrizePicks. Trey Murphy. Okay, I like Trey Murphy. Over 27.5 PRA. I like this play. FanDuel's got this at minus 122 at 28.5. We can get 27.5. Jakob all right. 7.5's okay. Jordan Poole under. It's all right. It's not like awesome. Yeah, I can't really get behind the rest of those, but I do like Trey Murphy. I can get behind Pirtle. What would be a third play here? Quickly? Under on his made threes. Yeah, I like the quickly play. Okay, let me share this with you guys. I'm going to try to cook this up quickly. Let's see if we can get this. Emmanuel Quickly under on his threes. Don't know if they'll let me do this because this is Jakob Pirtle and Quickly on the same team, so I don't know if they'll let me do this. Dude, they already bumped this to 8.5. Dude, get out of town. Jesus, Murphy. Speaking of Murphy, we're taking his under PRA. Okay. All right, then all I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to top this off with a random esports play because I don't want to force anything on the optimizer, but the Larry model's got some good stuff when it comes to esports, and so we'll grab this play. So I'll share this with you guys. All right, let me share this link with you guys. I finally figured out what was going on with my Google Chrome. Hey, the beach after the stream, Irish. Enjoy it, man. There's a 3-pick entry over here on Underdog. Let me take a screenshot of this. Nice. Okay. Oh, I totally forgot a 40% boost. Shit. I got a 40% boost today, man. Dang it. We'll also look at World Series Game 3 player props tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern. All right, guys, that's stream. Back on later today. Love yins, and I'll talk to you soon. Adios.